Touchdown Tampa Bay. You're listening to the Pewtercast.
Welcome to the Pewtercast. I am Brent Allen, your host, joined as always by my good buddy, my co-host Ren Daxt. Ren, here we are on the backside of general open to the public, or open to the general public, however we say it. Training camp, end of week 1.5. I'm not quite sure really where we are in the timeline. But
yeah, we're like players.
Yeah, I know, exactly. But how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. You know, it was the second open practice. The StickCarriers were there. It was a nice, bright, and sunny day, and you know, it was a good practice to watch. It was a lot of fun.
I mean, it was just really great getting to be out there with other fans. You know, we were out there earlier this week, just kind of us, and there was some of the media, and there was maybe some friends and family or various things like that. But
right.
You know, to kind of get to be out there with our own. You know, that was a whole lot of fun. And we'll get into kind of all those details. We've actually got a little bit of a different show for the folks out there today, Ren.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of practices. I've seen 4 or 5. Brent's seen 3 or 2 or
been 3, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, and you've heard the narrative. It gets to be the same thing over and over, and you know, we're just like you. We're ready for some preseason football. Like, we want to see now. I need to see Sean Wilson carry the ball. You know, I need to see Fitzpatrick's with the ones. I need to see the offensive line. I need to see this new defensive line. I need to see the rookie cornerback. So, what we ended up doing, we ended up grabbing a lot of sound from a lot of different people around training camp. You know, we got a cool interview with Carmen Vitale, new staff writer, Brian Ford. We got a little bit of sound from. You know, like I said earlier, StickCarriers were there. They did something special for us. You know, out of the blue, something we weren't expecting, and you know, some practice highlights. And of course, I feel like I'm taking your job just recapping what's coming up. But of course, you know, we tried something totally different. We put down our audition tape for Monday Night Football.
Yes, and you know, with John Gruden now out of the way, I hear there's a couple open spots.
They're filled, but I mean, you know, they could fall on their face. It could be the Dennis Miller, Eric Dickerson crew. Right.
So we, God, they were bad. So
Eric Dickerson made it for 2 games as a sideline reporter. And they're like, yeah, you're terrible.
Yeah,
you're
so we'll definitely get to that. We will play those tapes in all their glory, Ren. So for our fans to see out there, and you know, and really a lot of this, and the impetus behind that is we're kind of at a spot, kind of as you mentioned, it's getting repetitive, right? It's sort of the same thing, and you know, if we're getting bored talking about it, we know that our fans have to be getting bored listening to it. Right. So we're trying to figure out how do we still talk about it, but let's do it in a new way. Let's do it in a fun way, a way that maybe makes it a little more interesting to listen to, maybe a way that we can enjoy it. In some cases, maybe we can even laugh at a little bit. So it should be a lot of fun as we get into that. So with that, Ren, why don't we go ahead and get into the show for today? All right, Ren, well, the first bit of audio that we are going to play for the fans out there, we got to catch up with COO of the Buccaneers organization, Brian Ford. Now, Brian is he's not your typical office guy. You know, he is a guy that if you're around, you go to practices, you're going to see him out there, and he will come up to you. He'll shake your hand. He'll talk to you for a few minutes. He's a real neat guy, you know. He's definitely an executive type person. You know what I mean? But he will come talk to you. So I managed to grab some audio from him. This is a little bit of a follow-up. Just if you guys remember last year, kind of towards the end of last offseason, I was able to catch up with Brian and caught just a little message. I said, Brian, if there's something that you want to talk to the fans about, what would it be? And what he said was, go tell the people that everybody here, from the players, the coaches, Jason Light, to all of us in the ticketing offices, down to the janitor, the one thing that we're always talking about is how do we bring another championship back to Tampa Bay? And that's kind of the last where we left off for the fans.
Right.
So this is kind of I actually asked him. I just said, hey, let's follow up on that. What do you want to say to the fans now? So we'll let you guys take a listen here.
To the best fans in the NFL, I just want to thank you. Look at today. Who's ready for football? Come on out, and let's make Raymond James Stadium the home field advantage that it's been.
Come on. Hey, listen, last year we talked. You told me, you said everybody in this building is talking about how do we bring a championship back to Tampa Bay. What's that conversation like this year?
Everybody's working hard. We're going to sneak up on some people. This is going to be a historic season, and I'm just excited to have all the fans part of it. The coaches, the players, we just really embrace the best fans in the NFL.
I love sneaking up on people, man. That's going to be the way to do it.
Go Bucs, and thanks for coming out.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out, guys.
All right, well, that was Brian Ford talking to us there. Basically, Ren just saying he thinks the Bucs are going to sneak up on people.
Yeah, shocker. The highest paid cheerleader the Buccaneers have is positive about the team. I'm just kidding. But, he's out, that's I'm not exactly sure what a COO does. I know what it stands for, Chief Operating Officer, but, when you're out there at practice, when it's open to the public, Brian Ford is out there, man. He's shaking hands and kissing babies and talking Buccaneers. So, it was great that that you had the wherewithal to sort of stick a mic in his face and get some sound from the guy. But what you just heard there, that is Brian Ford. Every time I've seen him, he's exactly like that. Loves the Buccaneers, man. Company man through and through.
Yeah, and unlike some of and understandably so, with as much media as around these guys and the rules and everything like that, sometimes you stick a mic in somebody's face and it just gets batted away. Or somebody says no, but Brian, Brian's he's very open, really willing to, to talk about it. And, he's also savvy enough. I'm sure he can say no if he needs to. So that was Brian Ford. Ren, we'll kind of turn over here. We'll head over towards Carmen Vitale. We got to catch up with her, new staff writer with the Buccaneers. This was more of just kind of getting to know you. She has been a really fun follow. Like fans, I don't know if you're out there, if you ever read the byline of whatever comes out on Buccaneers.com, but a lot of her articles have been really good or just really fun.
She's been doing a lot of behind the scenes player profiles. Mm-hmm. She did Levante David, she did Vin Curry. I think the one that got probably the most run, or the one that everyone liked the best, I should say, would be the Bo Allen one, where she went around to 3 different barbecue joints with him and they rated him. They also did a video of it as well with the article. So that was a cool piece. But like you said, she's a real fun follow on Twitter, at Carmi V. There's a little story she's going to tell us in just a second about how she came up, how she decided on that Twitter handle. But it's, she's, just a little younger, just like you said, a little breath of fresh air, just a little hipper. And it's weird, but even if you haven't met her yet, it seems like through her tweets, she's always smiling, You can sort of get that feeling. So, we'd contacted her in the past and said, hey, we'd love to have you on. And she was all down for it. And, sort of the stars aligned for us for this training camp. And and we got a couple of minutes with her. Yeah,
it was a real fun time. So here it is. We had just a few minutes to talk to her, just kind of a get to know you. Here it is. Carmen Vitale. Vitale? We'll talk about that.
All right, we are here with Carmen. How do we say this? Is it Vitale?
Vitale, yeah.
Vitale, because, we had that draft pick last year, Dan Vitale, Vital. Nobody can figure out how to say his name.
There's a really funny story behind that, actually. So I went to Northwestern for grad school, and that's where he went to school. So when I entered campus, I just get my student ID. They're like, oh, are you related? And I was like, to Danny Vitale. And his brother Tommy played, too.
Right.
And I had, at that point, never met him. And I still didn't meet him my entire time at Northwestern. But then when I got here, I got here right right before the draft, and I saw us draft him, and I was like, well, this is funny. And so I didn't ever actually met him until he got down here, but I was like mistaken for his cousin, his sister, everything.
But it's not actually spelled the same, though, is it?
No, it's not. So, but people overlook that. It's fine.
Yeah, it just sounds the same.
Yeah.
All right, Carmen Vitale, tell us, you are new here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is your first year on staff?
It's my first year writing.
First year writing.
I was hired as the team's copywriter in 2016.
Okay.
So
I don't know what that means.
Right, nobody does. So all the
Do
all
you
the
know
signage,
what that means? That's what's
not
important.
especially.
Okay.
No. No, I will tell you what it means. So all the signage you see around here, billboards, radio ads, stuff like that, somebody has to write that. You don't get a credit for it, but that's what I did for 2 years. And then last season, I took over some writing duties for the website, and this offseason was promoted to full-time writer. So,
wow, congratulations. Welcome aboard the team. Well, Carmen, I've loved some of your work that we've seen come out.
Thank you.
I think probably the most hallmark piece, at least that I've seen, that I relate to as a big fat guy, is the barbecue with Bo Allen.
It was Ryan Jensen.
Or Ryan Jensen, that's what I mean. They kind of look alike a little bit. Let's be honest.
They're big white dudes.
They are, with red hair.
Yes.
Flaming red hair.
Yes. Yes. That was so much fun, and we shot it actually in one afternoon.
Yeah.
So
I heard he was a little sick by the end of it.
He was struggling, but like a true competitor, he powered through, and I've never been prouder, I have to say.
All right, tell us about the impetus. Like, where did that idea come from?
So we've been doing the Bay series. That's actually part of a series that our social media team has created just for social media, and it's been really cool. It's just kind of trying to get to know the guys outside of One Buck, and what do they do? What do they like to do outside of the practice facility? So we know Ryan is a huge barbecue person, and we figured since he was new in town, why not take him on a barbecue tour of Tampa? So that was I was like, hey, let's do this. It'll be fun. And he was really scientific about it. He was talking about flavor profiles, smoke rings. I learned a lot. So it was great. It was awesome, and he played a lot. He was such a good sport about it, but why wouldn't you be?
You've also done a couple articles with Vin Curry and Levante David. So, for the fans, because we're a fan podcast, like, give us a little insight, what you learned, what personalities did you pick up from them? Tell us how great of guys they are.
They honestly, though, they really, really are. And every guy that I've been able to sit down with and do that series with, they've just been... They're really, they want to talk about something other than football sometimes.
Right.
So, and that's kind of where that came from. It's like, we know a ton of their stats. Like, avid fans will know, Levante David's been with the team for this long, and he, has this many accolades and all that kind of stuff.
His junior college mascot was the Greyhounds.
Yes. And he actually went to JUCO with Jason Pierre-Paul.
There you go.
But they really want to talk about who they are outside of the confines of One Buck. So they've just been really awesome and being really open with a lot of their stories and just kind of what they're into. And I started that series not with a lot of expectations, to be honest, and it's just exceeded everything, and I've gotten to know the guys so much better and built really good relationships with them because of it. So it's been awesome.
All right, before we let you go and you tell all the listeners where you are on social media, and by the way, you need to follow when she gives you the Twitter handle. You're a breath of fresh air for as far as the staff, the writers. I mean, Scott Smith, we love him to death. He's a walking historian.
He really is.
But he likes puns. You're a little more hip, a little younger. Your Twitter follows, nothing against Scott. We love him to death. He's going to be on the pod later. But for me, you're a more fun follow. But before we get there, we talk about Scott Smith. He's from Northwestern.
Yes.
You graduated Northwestern.
Yes.
Is this a little nepotism getting you in the building?
So not necessarily, I don't think. But I will say that I was graced into his good side because of that alma mater. I don't think that I would have been as welcomed had it not been for that. So I automatically got on Scott's good side. I'd like to think. Scott, if you're listening.
All right, well, here's your chance to get on Scott's bad side. So go ahead. Dish a little something right now. Scott doesn't listen to this show. Yeah, he does. I don't know. Go ahead. Come on, give us a little something about Scott Smith.
I can't give you anything on Scott Smith because even if I wanted to, there is nothing. He has been so incredible for me, because I'm still a young writer. I'm still obviously know not as much about the Bucs as he does, because I don't really think anyone knows as much about the Bucs as Scott does. But you don't understand. I can literally walk into his office at any point and be like, so when was the last time we had an interception on a Monday night in the second half when it was raining? And Scott...
Miami Dolphins, 1981. Don't fact check that.
But honestly, Scott can pull it out of his head just like that, and it's incredible. I've really never seen anything like it.
Are you sure it's his head he's pulling it out of?
Yes, because he doesn't get stop. I have honestly, but the thing is, I will go back, not just, to cover all my bases. I want to make sure everything's factual. I'll go back and I'll look up that game that he said it was at and whatever, and he is dead on every single time. It's really incredible.
Nice. All right, so Carmen, you have been out here all training camp. At this point with training camp, we know the storylines. We know kind of what's been developing.
Sure.
What have been the things that have sort of stood out to you, that have jumped out to you, maybe that have surprised you a little bit?
Well, the crowd just got a Justin Watson chant going. That kid I actually really, really, really like. And the thing is, it's going to be hard because that receiver group is so incredibly stacked.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at what Justin Watson's done in camp and you think, oh my God, this kid has a legitimate shot. He's going to make the team. Like, no. There's no problem there. But then you look at the guys that are ahead of him and you're like, oh God. And then you see Chris Godwin out here that is just like, he steals the show.
Yeah.
He steals the show. And so it's like, you have to think that fourth receiver spot is locked up, or fifth receiver spot, I should say. So it's like, it's one of those things where you feel for the guy, because I feel like Justin has all the intangibles too. Getting to talk to him, he went to Penn. He's an Ivy League graduated Wharton School of Business. So he's got all the intangibles. He's super dedicated to the playbook. He's staying after with Deshaun Jackson, working on his craft, trying to, get better as much as he can and learn from the vets around him. And you just wonder.
And I learned the other day, he never stops smiling.
Oh gosh.
He really doesn't.
He's such a great guy.
But I'll tell you, Ren and I have said he's kind of one of our top picks for the red shirt year.
Yeah.
Well, he gets injured.
Right. And you just try to hold on to him by any means necessary.
Exactly. So, all right, Carmen, well, thank you so much for your time. Tell everybody out there where they can follow you on the internet and kind of maybe what you have coming up.
Well, I will be continuing my Behind the Bucs series. That's, like I said, one of my favorite series that I've been doing on Buccaneers.com. But if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at CarmieV. CarmieV, and I modeled it actually after Dick Vitale. So that's where that handle comes from.
All right, Carmi V, thank you so much for your time. You guys make sure you give her a follow, all right?
Thanks, guys.
Well, boy, Ren, I got to tell you, listen to those people chant the Pewtercast. Man, that was an unexpected turn for us. As we were kind of walking around, going in through the indoor facility, there they were. We were trying to capture some audio of the StickCarriers and the people chanting. Maybe it's hearing "Go Bucs" or "BUCCANERS," and next thing we know, we look up and they're chanting "Pewtercast, Pewtercast, Pewtercast." That was super cool.
That was really cool, and thank you so much for that. That was it was a little bit of a humbling experience, to be honest, because we were indoors, and as you can tell from the audio, it was loud. And Brett's right, we walked in, and we're sort of plugging back in and switching microphones and doing headset stuff before we sort of trying to find a place to sit. And I go, hey, how about we walk by the StickCarriers and get some audio? Because it's real, they took up a whole section. So it was easy. Like when we talked to some of them earlier. So, they saw you with the microphone, we figured they'd start chanting, Buccaneers or, StickCarriers or whatever they wanted to. But
well, I'll tell you with that, Ren,
but there was it was so organic. There was no prompting. It wasn't like, hey, okay, let's do this chant. Like they just saw us and they all knew who we were and they all just started at the same time. And it was just really cool.
Yeah. And, because I did that last year too. I had the same mic, same setup and everything like that. And last year at training camp underneath the awning outside. And, they just kept going. They didn't even give us a second look. I don't even know that they saw me. And I'm a big dude. It's hard to miss me. You know what I mean?
It's impossible to miss you.
Yeah, it is not easy for sure. But I mean, these guys just started doing that, and you're right. they probably went about 3 or 4 rounds of it before it actually clicked with me what they were saying. Because I was just focused in on the technical side of it. So yeah, you're right. It was very, very cool. It was very, very humbling. But that was not our first experience like that throughout the course of the day.
No, it was, I'm going to tell a story real quick. I was talking with Gene from Buck What You Heard, the YouTube channel. We've been on a show with a bunch of times. We're good friends. And he said, you know what I really want out of this show at the end of the day is just to be recognized at a tailgate.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, that's sort of my creme de la creme. And I look, and I'm thinking I'm like, you know what? That would be cool. But that day at practice, it seemed like every time we turned around, someone was coming up to us because they recognized our voice or saw our shirts. Mm-hmm. and wanted to come up and tell us, that they listened to us and how much they enjoyed the show. And it felt really, really good. It was a really cool experience. Like Alex and Phil and I know I'm going to forget a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
TJ came up to me. There was some guy at the end. I'm sorry. It was like Bucs Havoc or
mm-hmm.
Bucs. He had a pretty risque Twitter handle,
right?
But it went all day, and it was really cool for just. It's not like they recognize us. Like I recognize people. Like look, there's Casey Phelps, but I don't walk up to her and be like, hey, Casey, I've been sending questions to you for 2 years, and I really enjoy what you do. But they took that extra step, and it just felt really good. It was cool, and thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, it definitely. I echo everything that Ren was saying there because, it's just so validating because we do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, Ren. We've kind of joked around about this. If nobody was listening to the show, we probably would not keep doing this. We do this for our fellow fans out there,
right?
And for us. Because we're all in this together, right? So, just to know that we're with each other. That there's other fans that are with us out there. And, guys, I got to tell you, you want to come up and talk to me. Ren says it every single show. I'm always down to talk Buccaneers football. And while I'm not really allowed to say that, it goes with me too. So there's a reason we put it on the back of the shirts.
It's because it's mine.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's your tagline. It's fine. It rolls off your tongue way better than it does anyone else's. So
anyone else in the whole entire universe.
There you go. But guys, you can come up to us anytime. You just say hi. You can say, you say whatever you want, and we'll talk to you or shake your hand. It was really cool to get to do that. Even took a couple pictures here and there with some people.
What? You got pictures?
Yeah, I got pictures. But and then something else that was also cool was we got to meet some of our fellow fan media generators out there.
Oh, yeah.
It was my first time meeting James Money Hill, Mr. Bucks Nation.
Big money.
Cool guy. Yeah, him and his girlfriend. We got to talk to them for a little bit. Phil Schwegler over at Full Press Coverage.
Yep.
He's the managing editor for the Buccaneers stuff that they have over there. They've kind of got me writing a few things here and there for them too. So shout out to those guys over there. But it just it's like meeting with old friends. So,
yeah.
And I think that Pewtercast chant may make its way into our show openings here.
It should.
It should. It will.
It should.
So, all right.
When's the next time we're going to get 50 to 100 people chanting our name?
Every single game.
Oh, I meant besides that. Yeah, but you can't bring the recording equipment in, so.
We'll see. We got connections now, Ren. We got connections. All right. Let's get back to football. It was just fun, guys. And here's the thing. We bring that up a lot, I think, because one, it was very flattering for us. It was very humbling, and it was certainly a very cool experience. But there's also just the part of, again, getting to be with other fans. And celebrate our team and kind of be unified that, no matter what our differences are, the rest, this is something that kind of brings us together. And that was just a kind of a super cool thing that I I don't think I realized how much I missed that aspect of being a Buccaneers fan.
Yeah, being able to talk. I mean, obviously we're in it deep, and if anyone listens to our podcast, they're in it deep too. And they listen to us because we talk about the things that we think are interesting, and obviously they think it's interesting too, or they wouldn't listen. Mm-hmm. But finding somebody like not in the podcast world, like I can't go to work and find somebody and talk Buccaneers football about them because they just don't know as much as I do. Mm-hmm. Like they don't know. They might know they have Vita Vea, but they'd be like Vita, whatever. Like they don't even know he's injured. Mm-hmm. It's so.
It's all the base level stuff, really, that we're talking about with those
it's guys. Like it's not like they're like they like the team, and they're fans and stuff, and they they'll watch them every Sunday, but they're not in it 24/7, 365 like you are, like I am, like our listeners are, and to be out there with like 3,500, 4,000 people that you could hold a conversation with about the Buccaneers. It's good stuff, man. And you're right. It's like it's something that you didn't know you really missed until it was back.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think that gets us even more excited for the season. All right. Speaking of the season and speaking of football, why don't we start talking some football? We finally got to the stands. They finally came in the indoor facility, which really was the more fun part of practice to watch. Everything that they had outside was just the same old drills, that you get. This was really where they started focusing on the 11-on-11s and the different coverages,
they did some
and stuff.
Yeah, and they did some red zone work, and they did a lot of 7-on-7s, and then they did the one-on-ones. Well, not really one-on-ones. Well, yeah, one-on-ones. Offensive, defensive line. They did that for a while, too. And that's always – if you're going to watch an individual drill, that's when everyone likes.
So we literally were fans in the stands during this time. And we just we just popped on the mic. We were surrounded by tons of people around us who some people were talking to us about various things. And we hopped on the mics and we just kind of we're just talking a little bit about what we've seen, and then you actually came up with a fun idea, I think, of as we kind of was covering practice. We'll let you guys are going to hear what happened in practice because, as Ren said, we're turning in our audition tape to be the new play-by-play and color commentators for Monday Night Football, WDAE, for Buccaneers radio net, I don't know, whatever it is.
Deckerhoff has to retire soon, right?
Yeah, man, he is not getting younger, although his voice sounds as chipper as it was at 28.
Yeah, like Dirk Cutter said, he's a mid-season form, but I mean, he's been doing it for 40 years. I mean, come on, let somebody else have a chance.
Come on, Gene. Coming up behind. Maybe Gene's going to open up an internship this year, and we can get on with that. But either way, Ren and I took turns doing the play-by-play versus the color, and I certainly had a part that I thought I was better at than the other. But we're just going to play that and just have fun with it, man. You guys could sit back and laugh with us, or laugh at us at some points, I guess. But if you listen, you'll get a feel for what actually was happening in practice as we go through that. So why don't we give that one a listen?
All right, well, we are here at Buccaneers training camp. This is Saturday. This is a day that is open to the general public. As far as we know, they have sold out of tickets. The cheerleaders are performing on the stage right now. We got the StickCarriers in full fashion right in the middle of the room. Ren Daxt.
What's up?
Man, this is hey, last time we did this was the draft party. We were over at Raymond James. Now we're over at $1 in the indoor facility. It's I don't know, it might have been a little bit cooler over at Raymond James in April than it is even right here.
Well, the doors have been open to let us all in, and it's going to cool down a little more, but it's definitely better than outside.
Look at us. We're like media people talking about how hot it is.
I know. We have become what we hated.
All right, so we're kind of in this transition with practice. We see the players out on the fields, the outdoor fields, kind of going through their final individual drills and different position units. They were doing special teams a little bit ago. So they're going to be in here in just a few minutes. The crowd's, I don't know, Ren, what would you say so far about the day?
It's been good. I was here for the first open to the public practice, and
Right.
this one had more people for sure.
Oh, does it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's a little harder to walk. The walkways, it's a little more crowded.
Right. I think in my head there was going to be like 3 times as many people here as there is right now, but
well, they can't fit them in. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing with the tickets.
It's true.
It's not outside.
Yeah.
It's inside.
right.
So.
Right, and people don't just show up if they don't have it. They know there's tickets. They're not going to just show up if they don't have a ticket. So
Yeah.
I get that.
And even if they do, they're not going to get in.
Right. All right. So practice has been okay today. I think I saw. I mean, I didn't talk about him while we were here this week a whole lot, but man, Chris Godwin was on fire today earlier.
Well, I didn't get to watch much of practice.
Yeah.
Because we had the interview with Carmen at session 5 or 6.
Right.
5, I think it
5,
was.
yeah.
And the headphones that I brought in with me, like the little earbuds, they had the wrong plug.
Yeah.
So I had to run out to the car and get my big old podcasting headphones. I look like I'm, directing traffic on a runway right now. So yeah, as far as practice goes, I'm gonna have to rely on you so far, because as soon as I got back, we went over to Carmen immediately, and then we talked to her for a whole practice period, and then the Buccaneers staff, the organization, people that sort of run training camp and hold up signs, how can I help you, where do you need to go, what's your question, brought out signs and said, hey, now it's time to move into the indoor.
A little bit early, actually a lot early.
Indoor
Seems like a lot early. They're moving in a lot earlier than they had planned on it anyway.
And no one complained. I mean, you didn't have to go.
Right.
But and I think everyone was ready to get inside in air conditioning.
Yeah, it's a hot one today, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So, but I mean, honestly,
weather remark number 2.
I hate to say it. Practice has been the same as it's been all week long.
Some people look good. Some people didn't look good.
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, what's today? Saturday?
It's Saturday, yeah.
Game on Thursday. Less than a week.
Right. And this is day 4 day 5. This is day 5 in a row of practice for the team.
Yeah. Right.
Understandably, they're a little tired. They're a little worn out, but they're also a little amped. The crowd is here. The crowd's in pretty good force.
Yep, StickCarrier showed up. They're doing their thing.
Right. I think they may have been saving. It's not been as loud as maybe you might remember from last year, but I think they may have been saving what all they have for getting in here.
They're saving it. Yeah, they're saving it for the Echo Dome.
Exactly, which is exactly where we are now. So, fans, we'll be back with you. We'll try to capture some audio of that to get that out there. But man, Ren, I'm really excited.
I have an idea I was thinking about.
What's that?
I think we should do play-by-play in color of the practice, like the 11-on-11s and 7-on-7s. Like one guy does a play-by-play, the other one jumps in and does color. We can switch back and forth. Like we're announcing.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
That'd be, if this goes well, we figure out how to do this. We position the Bucs to actually get like our little ESPN desk over there. And
yeah, that's gonna work. Yeah,
because there's room in here.
Yes, because Alan is not sick of hearing from us yet.
I'll give him a week. All right. So next time, I'll tell you this. Next time Alan hears from us, he's getting a T-shirt. So.
I just saw him walk by. But by the way, the Buccaneers have put out a tweet about these new T-shirts, like all sort of the workers, the people that are running the staff, even the people that are serving the drinks and running the kids zone and everything. It's what is it?
Eat, sleep, Bucs, repeat.
Eat, sleep, Bucs, repeat. And I like them. Like I want one. I think they're cool.
There we go. All right. Well, we'll talk to you guys here in just a few minutes.
Players are coming on in, and
all right. Oh yeah, here they go.
We'll be back after this commercial break.
Right here, 2018 training camp, StickCarrier Takeover Day.
Got to pay the bills. Got to keep the lights on.
Hey, PewterCast fans, you guys are amazing. Through this offseason, this little community that we have has been developing and been growing by leaps and bounds. You guys are calling into the live shows. You're shooting us emails, comments, questions for the fan interaction segment. You're leaving us great reviews on iTunes and other podcasting platforms. Now, you may have noticed some of the changes that have been happening around the PewterCast, but we've also recently upgraded some of our equipment, and we're really working hard to bring you better content, higher quality content. But there's one thing that we were not able to accomplish this offseason, and that's to finally get our own website up and running. So we're asking for your help. We're asking for your help to keep the lights on and to keep the show going. But not only that, but to also advance the show and make your experience that much better. But we don't want to just ask you to send money. No, we want to give back as well. So to that end, we have set up a Patreon page where you can go and become a sponsor of the Pewtercast. For a small recurring monthly donation, you're not only going to help us achieve our goals, but you're also going to get some pretty cool swag just for being a part of it. And there's even the possibility of attending a home game with me, Brent, in the East Club section of Raymond James Stadium. So head on over to patreon.com/the Pewtercast to check out all the information and become a sponsor of the Pewtercast.
And the crowd is going wild. The players are entering the indoor facility.
Elvis is in the building.
Let's go Bucs. Let's go Bucs.
Let's go Bucs.
Let's go Bucs.
There we go. Yeah, players are coming in. It is time for the indoor portion of the facility of training camp.
A little reminder, next time I see the signs that come in, I think I'm going to stay outside. Because everybody came in, it'd be a great time to actually catch video and things like that.
It's like back in our media day.
Right, yeah. I mean, literally, like, there's been no one outside watching practice for like a half hour.
We got Quan Alexander is first out in the middle of the field, leading his team onto the field as they prepare for what is surely to be 7-on-7s, 11-on-11, something here, Ren.
Yeah, here we go. They're going to start off with a offense-defense period. And during the break, Brent has decided to take the play-by-play, and that makes me the color guy.
I think I'm going to be horrible at this, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, whatever. I mean, like, if it's really that bad, I think it's going to be hilarious either way, but if it's really that bad...
VH3 is coming out, waving, getting all the fans into the thing, throwing his arms up. The fans are responding here, Ren.
They love their Bucs. That's why they're here.
First team out right now. We've got Fitzy coming up under center.
Looks like Alex Kappa. I'm not sure if Beninock's hurt right now, but Alex Kappa is in there with the ones right next to Demir Dotson. Regular cast of characters along the offensive line except for Kappa.
And the Bucs approach the line of scrimmage. They get set as Fitzy goes under center with Jensen. The brand new center for the Buccaneers this year. And the ball is snapped. Hand off to Peyton Barber. Gain of about 7.
Yeah, and that's just kind of what you expect for Peyton Barber this year. People have said he's looked a little more powerful, a little more quick. He was stopped maybe a yard and a half at the line of scrimmage. Quan Alexander met him in the hole, but he went ahead and put his head down and wiggled free, just like Peyton Barber does, and ended up picking about 5 yards.
Falling forward. Bucs are back to the line. This is where we need Gene Deckerhoff. Fitzy signals. Line adjusts. He drops back to pass. Short pass to Peyton Barber. And he gets up. And he's running. He keeps going. Two-hand touch. And they're down about the 45-yard line.
If this was
Maybe
a real
41.
If this was a real game, Vinny Curry would have killed Fitzpatrick. He got it in there extremely fast and was on Fitzpatrick before he even got rid of the ball. So I'm going to call that a sack for Vinny Curry on the second play.
I really wonder if I can get an internship with Gene Deckerhoff this year.
Sure, as long as you can fly from Tampa to Tallahassee every 2 days.
Dude, I'm kind of in between. I'm at that triangle.
Just pick me up.
Fitzy drops back. He's going for the pass. Short over the middle. Bounces into the hands of Justin Watson, the new rookie receiver. 5th-round draft pick.
This is my time. When the play ends, that's when you quit talking.
Whatever.
Whatever. That's it. That's color. You want to do play-by-play, you want to do color. You can't do both. Anyway, Fitz got a hand on him. I don't know if that affected the throw or not, but it was bad. It skipped short about 5 yards of its target, which I hear was Justin Watson.
Was Justin Watson. 5th-round draft pick out of Penn State.
Who's quarterbacking?
Jameis Winston is now in under center. He's dropped back into the shotgun. Changing the call at the line. Looks like Javian Elliott lining up in the slot. Showing a little bit of pressure. Winston drops back, and the refs pull out the flags. Not exactly sure what happened there.
Yeah, you called it too, but this is actually a positive because Javian Elliott was in the slot, and he was creeping, and he came, and Ronald Jones picked him up.
There we go.
Don't know what the penalty's for because this is practice, and they don't tell us, but a do-over.
We got some of the rookies spread out. Looks like we have Jacquizz Rodgers in the backfield. Maybe.
Yes.
Jameis Winston changing the call at the line. He is under center. Drops back, handoff to Jacquizz Rodgers, and he is stuffed behind the line of scrimmage.
Wow. 75, second string D-line there, got through again, and that's on the Donovan Smith, Ali Marpet, Jensen side. Lambert, shot the gap, got in there, and got hands on Jacquizz Rodgers before he even got to the line of scrimmage. Geez, just changed the number to 22. It looks like every play I saw last year.
Jameis Winston back under center, approaching the line. Here comes the snap. And a handoff to Jacquizz Rodgers again. He is stuffed again at the line of scrimmage, brought down.
I got a little correction. That was not the first offensive line because now the second offensive line is in with the second team defense. So it wasn't a Marpet, Donovan Smith, but that was
that would have been Boozer and somebody else that we don't know. Holcomb, I believe.
But another run to the left-hand side and another loss of 2 yards.
Here we are, 3rd and 10. Jameis Winston drops back, long bomb down the field into the hands of number 18 as he takes it in for a touchdown. Listen, I don't care what down that comes on.
Great
touchdown,
throw by
Tampa Bay.
Nice. That sounded really good. Great throw by Winston. Dropped it right in the bucket to Reedy, who decided to take the day off being a good Samaritan and driving people to their doctor's appointment to come out here and practice. And he showed up for the first big play of the offense in the first scrimmage here on the indoor facility. Touchdown, Winston to Reedy.
And the StickCarriers are hollering, let's go Winston. Fitzpatrick is back in, the number ones. This is where we see Marpet and Donovan back in. Going against the number one defense as well. Fitzpatrick is in the shotgun, takes the snap, and he drops back. Pocket closes around him. Fitzy steps up, but he would have been sacked if this was a real game.
Yeah, no, he never didn't get rid of the ball. We had Charles Sims in there picking up, trying to help out, or maybe he's trying to squirt free through the middle of the line. But, that JPP, McCoy, they had Noah Spence out there, and Curry, they had their pass rushing defensive line out there. And, hey, guess what? They got there, and they got there quick.
Boy, I got to tell you, you can feel the energy here in the room.
It's like a playoff game atmosphere.
They're at the line again. Fitzy has dropped back into the shotgun. He takes the snap. Quick short pass to somebody. As he gets out, he gets tagged down around the 50.
I think that's Bobo Wilson.
That would be Bobo Wilson.
Did a tunnel screen.
Yeah.
It would have been a big game. Can't tell you if it was a touchdown.
So here we are. First down, Tampa Bay. As the crowd starts chanting Bobo.
That's not no-no you're hearing, folks. That's Bobo. A little flashback to the 80s. Hugh Green, Hugh Boo. No?
As Bobo comes back, he gets a little tap on the helmet from Mike Evans and his teammates. Boy, I tell you, this is really tough trying to keep up with all these people who are on the field. I don't have the advantage point of seeing exactly what numbers are out there. Looks like we've got Hartley the third out wide. And the play is blown dead before anything happens.
Now, I will say that Mike Smith's defense has brought pressure off the left edge 3 times. One, Ronald Jones picked it up, and the past 2, Sean Wilson, who everyone's been talking about, this guy's going to make them keep them on his roster, and he did a good job, from my vantage point of picking up the blitzer and pushing him wide, so giving room for Fitzpatrick to step up into the pocket.
Quick look around the field. I don't see Mike Smith anywhere. Makes me wonder where he is calling these plays from. However, we are back at the line. Fitzy, we are first down, and they blow the whistles.
End of the period, end of the sort of one-on-ones here, or offense-defense? No?
Mm-hmm. There'll be a lot of editing in this.
I don't know why. Just keep it running.
No, this is...
From our sponsors, Darkest Tuna.
This is why the NFL has so many commercials right here.
The only tuna.
Starkist Tuna now has to send us a check. $15, please.
All right, back at
Fitzy
it.
is under center with Jensen and the number 1 offensive line. Jake Lampman is out wide. He drops back to pass. Justin Watson in the coverage, but looks like it's picked off by Justin Evans. I don't know if he actually got it before it hit the ground or not, but he certainly came up with it and ran it back.
Yeah, you're right. Fitzpatrick was going deep about 20-25 yards, going after the rookie out of Penn. Overthrew him a little bit, not over the top, but a little too far wide towards the sidelines. Justin Evans, supposed to have a big year, or Bucs fans are looking for him to have a big year this year. Showed his athleticism, dove in, picked up the ball, got up, and ran it back for another 20 yards. So,
that's right.
You know, Evans having a good camp, and there he flashed.
Well, we are back here with the number 2s, the number 2 offensive line. However, instead of Jameis Winston, we got Ryan Griffin on the field right now. And boy, I tell you, Ryan Griffin has not looked as sharp to me this year as he did last year. So I'd like to see what he's going to do right here. He is up under center. We got some movement on the line right now. Everybody's getting set, and the snap, here it comes. Oh, changing the call, reading defenses. And toss out to number 44 as we're running up and down the line. About gets clocked over on the sideline.
There's a flag on the play. Yeah, it was a pitch to the new back that just came in yesterday. They had him around here.
I think that's exactly how the pronunciation guide has it.
They had him around here last year. And, you know, just a little simple toss pitch, but, you know, there's a flag on the play. I don't know who it's against. But now it's going to bring up 3rd down and looks like 10 to me.
Well, I tell you, one of the hardest things about this is some of these guys have duplicate numbers. Trying to keep them all straight. And the line is set. Ryan Griffin is back in the shotgun. Making his calls. People are adjusting. There goes false start move.
Of course. It's number 73, the other Agwabagwa on the roster, besides Igwebuike, which I know that one. 3rd string reserve, offensive lineman. Let me see if I can get this right. Jerry Ugoke. Don't check that.
Bucs line up on the ball. Here we are at 3rd down. 3rd and probably about a dozen to go. Ryan Griffin takes the snap. He drops back, and a pass intercepted by. Is that
38?
Who is that? Who is that man?
It's Myers.
Good for him, but a guy that we will not see probably on this team.
Ryan Griffin looked like he slipped a little bit. He was going to the tight end out of Eastern Michigan, Schumamacher. And, it just, I don't know if Griffin thought he was going to be in a different place, but it was an easy pick. Basically, Griffin threw it right to him. And Myers got a nice return out of it. Would have been deep in opponent's territory.
Looks like now we're moving into some special teams drills. And I think that'll wrap up our first color commentary, calling the plays.
I think that was fun. I want to try calling the plays next time.
No, I want to call the plays.
All right.
We can switch. No, we can switch.
Thanks. I appreciate that. All right, we're back, and now I will be doing the play-by-play. We didn't get started fast enough, so you just missed a 50-yard bomb from Fitzpatrick to guess who? Chris Godwin, 50-50 ball, pulled down with it and fell into the end zone.
Boy, I got to tell you, Chris Godwin went up for that ball. There was no doubt in my mind that he wasn't going to come up with that ball. Everybody looking good. God, I don't know. What do we talk about here? We got...
You talk about Chris Godwin. That's what you talk about.
Oh, okay, Chris Godwin.
The connection that they have. Okay, but you're done now.
Yeah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's under center. Got 2 wide receiver, 2 tight end split. Hands off coming to the left side. Nice hole. Ronald Jones stiff arms. I think it's Ronald Jones stiff arms. Oh, no. Peyton Barber stiff arms Chris Conte in the face. Would have been a gain of about probably 5 yards.
Well, I thought he was about to take Chris Conte's head off as he ran by him. I mean, he knocked Chris Conti back 2 yards out of that. Boy, I like the way Peyton Barber's looking. He's our good old workhorse. And
we got trips in. We've got Watson, Reedy, and Wilson, along with O.J. Howard and Barber in the backfield. Fitzpatrick's under center. Pump fakes out to the outside. The draw to Barber up the middle for 2 yards. Looks like JPP and Ryan Smith on the tackle.
Well, Ryan Smith came in there like a bat out of hell right there towards the end to completely stop forward progression. We know that these refs, that's where they're going to be blowing the whistle now, is when forward progress stops. So we'll be looking for that as they blow these whistles a little bit early.
Ronald Jones, same receivers. Ronald Jones gets subbed in, started out wide, gets motioned back in. Now he's moving from the right side to the left side of Fitzpatrick, who's in the shotgun. Trips left with O.J. Howard. They fake the run up the middle to Barber, and Howard hits Howard on the slant. Probably would have been gaining like 5 or 6 yards.
Well, I'd tell you, Howard he's standing head and shoulders above every single defensive man we have out there. He's going to go out there. He's a big dude, man. I'm going to pull that ball down. He wasn't going to go anywhere after that, but he did get the ball.
It's funny how you had more color when you were doing play-by-play. Now it's your turn to talk, and I get nothing. Fitzpatrick in the shotgun. 3 wide receiver set. Looking left, goes back right, and nice coverage. Looks like that was on Justin Watson, and it was Davis, Carlton Davis III.
Is that Carlton Davis?
I believe so. I hope so. I don't know.
33.
33 is Davis.
Yeah, Carlton Davis III. We were just talking about him. They keep talking about how Carlton Davis is a guy who brings something to the cornerback room that we don't have. That's something being height and arm span.
Length, exactly. Griffin's in. He's under center. Stretch run play to the left side. Not much there. Ronald Jones.
Keith Tandy there on the stop.
Get a little fisticuff. Oh, Patrick O'Connor. Pop Cambright in the face.
Uh-oh.
Open hand to the face mask. Let's see if he stays in the game. Or in practice, I should say.
I like seeing the emotions run high with these guys. It's good for them. It's good to get out there, get all that out, get it all flushed out as they're going, because that's only going to help us.
Looks like O'Connor's staying in, so it's not all fights get you ejected.
Well, it was an open hand, That's what they call a bitch slap.
Ryan Patrick in the gun with the Quiz Rogers sidecar right. Gets the ball. Cuts back. Actually, Griffin's right out in front and throwing a block, and, it was a cutback play. Cutback play to the right side. Got about 10, 12 yards. Nice little play.
Well, I got to tell you, I thought Quiz was going to get stuffed in the backfield there for sure, but to see Ryan Griffin roll out, man, he is looking like a quarterback on this series right now.
We have I believe the third string defensive line. Nope, we got a mixture in there. It looks like to be Clark, Unrein, Golston, and possibly O'Connor. Griffin drops back. Outlet to cross was like his third read. Picks up 5 or 6. Plenty of time.
I got to tell you, these guys are definitely getting chippy. They're getting mouthy out there. They're popping each other even after the play is over. The competition is heating up here between the offense and the defense here for the Buccaneers at training camp 2018.
Yeah, they're ready to start hitting somebody in a different colored helmet.
Yeah, they are. And they'll get their opportunity coming up this week. Thursday night, they're going down to Miami. Face a in-state rival here with the Dolphins.
Now they've moved the ball from midfield down to looks about the 20, maybe it's just outside the 10. Jameis Winston now is a quarterback, and he's huddling his team up. Let's look over. It looks to be Kolovatu's in there with the ones. Looks like defensive back. We've got McCoy, Golston, it looks like. Curry and Kolovatu. Maybe Gerald McCoy's calling it a day. Winston under center. Little motion, roll out. He had some pressure to get it out quick, and he got it out to Barber, who picked it up. There was a linebacker right on him. For this angle, I couldn't tell if he would have made the tackle or not, but besides that, he was the last guy. It was either he was going to tackle him there or go in the end zone.
Well, the arms went up, so it does look like that was a touchdown. I got to tell you, this red zone, this was the scary part last year. even in the preseason, the red zone woes is well documented all throughout last year.
Yeah, and I kept saying, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but I'm glad that you did.
And I should have worried. Winston under center again. Barber shifts over to the left-hand side. That was like an old-school option play. Winston put the ball in his gut and then read the defensive end, pulled the ball out, and then followed Barber right up the middle.
Yeah, it did not look like that was called as a quarterback sneak, but that certainly is what it tried to turn into. And, Ren, we talk about how with your running backs, you just want them to grab the ball and at least fall forward. Don't lose your yards. Jameis Winston was at least trying to fall forward on that play as everything collapsed in around him.
These are big guys. You fall forward, that's 2 yards minimum. Winston in the shotgun. Him and Marpetter going over some things. Here's the snap. He's looking right. He would have been sacked. Yeah. He continues to play, throws it in the end zone. It's a catch. No one even cheers because everyone knows he would have been sacked. From this distance, I can't see who got in there. But
it was Mike Evans.
Evans got in there.
Yeah, Mike Evans got in there, but that was more of a backyard, let's go throw a couple balls after Thanksgiving dinner and our bellies are full kind of a toss.
Yeah, Winston knew that play was over.
Speaking of Mike Evans, did you know that Mike Evans, if he was to be sorted into a house in Hogwarts, big Harry Potter fan over there, he'd be a Gryffindor, he says.
Jameis Winston under center. Chris Godwin goes in motion right. Fakes the handoff. Looks for I think it's Alan Cross out of the backfield, and it's going to be looks like it's going to be a little short.
It's going to be short.
Oh,
he got ear hold. Uh-oh.
Or is it a fight, or are they
No, they're just changing out.
They're just yelling and screaming.
They're switching out units is all they're doing right now.
Almost from this angle, like a brawl. Everyone was going over at the same time, so not sure what was going on there. Jameis Winston still
this rotating thing with Jameis Winston, you really got to give Cutter credit for prepping Fitzpatrick and keeping Winston in the rotation. Winston certainly is getting his fair share of reps in today, and he told us the other day, Cutter did, that if you add them all up, Jameis Winston is still getting the most amount of reps out there out of any of our three quarterbacks.
That's right. Now he sets up in shotgun. We got Phillips in motion right.
This is definitely twos.
Winston calls for the ball. Looking right the whole way. Can't see anything. Looks back left. Gets flushed out. Rolls out. He's killed. He would have been killed. But yay! Flipped in the end zone for a touchdown. He would have been sacked like twice. But he tried to keep it alive. He did roll out and.
That was Jameis Winston being Jameis Winston right there, and that's a Madden call for you right there.
But I guess the good thing you can say he didn't throw an interception because he's the last game I watched.
He would have if that was a real game live situation, he would have pulled that ball in and taken the sack, which is the right thing to do in that situation.
Fade pass to the corner. Looks like Godwin one-hander. I see a flag. Nope.
That's not Godwin.
That is not Godwin.
Sorry.
Who is it?
89. I don't know who's that.
Thank you, Color.
Well, I got to tell you, looking around the stands here today, we got a lot of Jameis Winston jerseys here in the stands. Fans still supporting their quarterback despite the upcoming suspension and despite what other people would have you believe.
Ryan Griffin now, and he takes control over center. He motions, and Alan Cross go in the backfield. And he looks to Chris Rogers, and from this angle, it looks like it's a loss of a few yards.
Yeah, Jacquizz Rogers is really short. It's hard to see him when you're standing at field level. What's going on? You understand what Cutter means when he says, hey, the worst seats in the world are from the field.
Ryan Griffin's still in. He is now in shotgun. He's got a bunch of scrubs around him with Jacquizz Rogers. Fakes a handoff up the gut to Jacquizz Rogers and takes it himself in for a quote-unquote, air quotes, touchdown.
Well, probably more interesting than what's actually happening on the field right now is what's happening behind the field. We see JPP, who has taken his pads off and his helmet. Looks like he's done for the day. Standing next to Vita Vea, who is in a boot, but not having a scooter. So Scooter Vea, no more.
They only have one scooter and he broke it?
It's possible. He was a big man. Although, despite his own personal claims that he's skinny, we have eyeballs and we can see.
Joe McCoy as well has his pads off. He's carrying them around.
Yeah. Looks like our ones are probably done for the day as we approach the 11 o'clock hour.
Griffin in the backfield is making a call. He's in the shotgun. Calls for the snap. And a flag. Somebody did something. Can't tell if it's offsides defense or false start offense.
Boy, I tell you, one thing that the Buccaneers do have to clean up that they got to get done. It seems like this is a storyline just about every year. Is they got to get more discipline. They got to eliminate all these stupid penalties that they have going on out there. I don't exactly know what that penalty was, but it was before the snap, which tells me that it was some sort of false start, lined up in the wrong spot, and a mental mistake, really, more than anything else.
Godwin's in the game. That means he's going to get the ball for a touchdown. Griffin looks back, looks at, hey, who do you know? Chris Godwin, and it's, hey, what do you know? A touchdown. Yeah, there's another pushing match, man. Another fight. Like Godwin almost got into the corner that came in. He felt like gave him a late pop. Now there's some offensive, defensive linemen all in a little skirmish.
Yeah, Godwin came off of that, and he was certainly jawing with whoever his defensive man was that tried to pop him. So.
And the fans are emptying out. They are rushing.
They're heading towards the parking lot. Oh, no, wait. They're heading towards the line to get autographs.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's happening.
The way the situation is here, there's a yellow, cord. No, what do you call it? Rope. Yeah, it's rope. It's made out of plastic. Twine. So, and then there's security that, basically every 10 yards around the whole entire field, so the fans don't get on the field, and you sort of get this invisible barrier. But as soon as the security guards bend down and pick up this rope that's laying on the ground, the fans know that the practice is coming to an end, so they charge the rope to get a premier spots up front so they can get the autographs that they're looking for. And for the last play of the game, Griffin takes the shotgun and the C's part, and he runs right into the end zone for a touchdown.
And nobody knows what is going on.
No one even watched. No one cared. Everyone's jostling for positions for...
All right, well, final score... Chris Godwin wins.
Justin Evans wins. Chris Godwin wins. Ryan Fitzpatrick wins.
Yeah.
Bernard Reedy.
Bernard Reedy, certainly.
And once again, it's just, since they're not tackling to the ground, you just don't know how this run game's panning out.
Right. And you really don't get a sense of what's happening with the defense or offensive lines and how those are going to work out as well. Either. It does look like the players are heading over towards the end zone over where the members are. I don't know if they're starting there.
They're dropping their pads and they're doing gassers. This fooled me last time, too. I was in here.
They're going to do gassers?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, all right. I want to talk about this. One of the things that the coaches have on the back of their jerseys, did we talk about this earlier this week?
A little bit.
I don't know. They have the words discipline-driven written on the back. And I got to tell you, last year when we went up to Jacksonville...
Right.
After practice, those guys were up there running gassers. Not our guys, their guys.
Yeah.
And you know what? Every single member of the Bucs Media Corps that was up there, myself included, although I was just there not as a media member, we were making fun of them. Because it looked like they were in freaking high school.
We thought they were going to be a terrible team, and it was sort of this. I believe Mark Cook was called it Junction Boys. That's an old movie about Bear Bryant. I guess a more modern way to put it would be remember the Titans when they went, when Denzel Washington put them all on a bus and took them away and had their camp.
Who's your daddy?
Who is your daddy? Who's your daddy? So yeah, and it had that feel, and like you said, Brent, we all made fun of them, and
for whatever it's worth, Ryan Jensen and Alex Kappa beating all the other offensive linemen in their gasser, which falls about 20 yards shorter than everyone else.
Yeah, the bigs get a 20-yard clip off the top of theirs. I don't think it matters because no one really runs hard. All they do is break off the line quick, and then they just sort of settle into a jog. Right. So these really aren't gassers. This is quick 3 steps, and then just sort of settle into my gait.
Yeah. That's all right. So
they're still running,
for the big guys right here. I mean, it's still a 55-yard run that they got to get in. I can remember walking this when I had played ball.
I mean, yeah, they were out there for an hour and a half time. It's not. I'm not going to say it's difficult, but they're tired. It's conditioning. I like it.
It's more conditioning. I like it. I like the discipline. Fitzpatrick's out there. His beard is blowing in the wind as he runs by.
Ryan Griffin is the only person who's kept his pads on. Oh wait, no, Bo Allen. Everyone else has their shoulder pads off. Every single person, except Ryan Griffin and Bo Allen.
Well, Ryan Griffin had to run that ball in at the very end. I can't speak to Bo Allen. I don't know what
That's his punishment for not finding the open man. I thought that was funny.
For the record, Noah Spence has been leading the offense and defensive lines in their
and
runs.
Look at that. There's Demir Dotson not running with the team because of his
calf.
No, he had the knee.
The knee thing?
It wasn't an ACL. It was a patella. No, I'm not really sure. Yeah. Anyway, he is jogging, but he's not running with any of the three groups that are going.
Yeah.
But he's doing his own thing there on the sidelines, a lot slower, but he's keeping that knee limber, keeping it warm.
For a big lumbering guy, DeMar Dotson really looks very fit from this far out.
Oh, he does.
He's a very fit guy.
I've seen him close up, like in street clothes, and the only difference between he's just big. That's it. Yeah. He's just 6'9".
Yeah.
He's
very bottom heavy to look at him. And that might be just because he still has his pant pads in.
Or you might be looking at his butt. One of the two. Which one is it?
Well, it's not just his butt. I mean, it's his legs. It's his thighs all the way down his calves.
Okay.
He's not a funnel. Let's put it that way.
He's not a funnel. No.
He's what do you call it? He's a beaker.
He's an upside down funnel. So you think this show is going to be heavily edited?
Yes. Or we'll scrap most of what we did here. I
think we should keep the play-by-play. I think people will like it, and even though we did a terrible job, I think they'll really appreciate sort of they're not listening to us,
right?
They're listening to what happened,
right,
and who made the plays and things, and I think it'll be really informative.
Although we can because we'll have to later record an intro to that, and we can make fun of ourselves a little bit for that.
Yeah, I always make fun of myself, unless I'm trying to prove somebody wrong, which is a lot. Like a lot.
It's been fun getting noticed a little bit out here.
Wow, I was really shocked by that. Yeah. I really was. It was really cool of Justin and the StickCarriers to give us that chant.
I did not expect that.
I can't hear you.
I did not expect that.
I did not expect it either, but it was very gracious and very nice. We had Justin on. What are you looking at? We had Justin on. I was not talking to Brent. To let him promote this day and the New Orleans Bourbon Street Takeover thing, and we didn't get to talk a lot of football. And then, when we got here, we made sure we sought him out, said hi to him, and then as we were coming in, I suggested, hey, how about we get some sound from the StickCarriers, and we'll go by and we'll sort of rev them up, and
because they're doing the Let's Go Bucs, the Tampa Bay, the BUCCANERS,
catch a little sound for the show, and as soon as they see us, Justin starts Pewtercast.
Yeah,
and
that was cool.
And it wasn't, and everyone did it. It was good. It was a nice solid chant, and they it wasn't one or two times. It was much appreciated.
Yeah,
I had a single tear. I actually mimicked that to them. I did the single tear, the finger.
I gave them the little heart, the little hand heart. Yeah.
Did you? I also did the hands together namaste in the head bow.
I don't know that it came across because I had the recorder and the microphone in my hand.
Yeah, and I had water in mine. So. I had a bottle of water between my hands. Maybe I just bent over and poured it out at their feet. Maybe that's what I did.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the players right now. Nobody is out signing autographs yet, it looks like.
They're coming. This is the last little meeting.
They're having their little team position meetings.
They're talking about, what we did well, what we didn't do well. Some guys pray. That's the defensive lineman over there. Buckner's a very spiritual man.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it looks like the DBs are over there stretching their hammies.
Yeah.
And and they're going to break.
Receivers are in the middle of the field right now,
and they're going to break up, and then they're going to come over and.
All right, Ren. Well, that was practice for the day. Basically, that's kind of what happened. That was open to the public, general practice number 2, week and a half closed out.
Radio Gold. You just listen to it.
There you go. So we will be expecting contract offers by the single digits.
By the ones.
By the ones.
Or zeros. Binary contract offers.
There you go. All right. So, Ren, we closed that out, and now I guess really we just kind of turn towards this week. Let's talk about and let the fans out there know, what's coming up this week. Because, hey, guess what? This week, Thursday night, we finally get a game. Woot, woot.
Yeah, I know. I know Buck fans can't wait. I know the players can't wait. As you heard in our play-by-play, there was a couple skirmishes, like little dust-ups. Nothing crazy, but just, basically offense, defense coming together, and then, lots of whistles blowing and pulling them apart. But there was more than one. Like, there was 3 or 4. So they're definitely ready to hit somebody in a different colored helmet. Mm-hmm. But they're not quite yet, They got practice Monday, which, of course, I'll be doing a show for. And then Tuesday, it's another open practice, open to the public, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll be there. And then I'll have another show Tuesday. And then, they travel Wednesday, and the game's Thursday. And then Thursday will be...
The Instant Cast returns. The phone lines will be open, provided I can get all the equipment working, because we're trying some new stuff, and I got some stuff that got jacked up. So we'll get that fixed here over the course of this week, but we will have an Instant Cast. You guys don't worry. That will come out so you guys can listen to that. And this one, it's a night game, so the Instant Cast will follow pretty much immediately as soon as the game is done. So you guys, you can check us out. We'll be broadcasting live at mixler.com/thepetercast. I will try to also simulcast up on YouTube. That's part of what this month of training camp is for us as we make those forays into the video world. Maybe we'll display a new setup, Ren. That's what I'm working on right now. Get a new setup for what our YouTube channel looks like as we make some advancing steps there. So we've got that. Super excited. I've already had a few people message me saying, hey, what's going on with the Instant Cast? That is something that, barring a complete blow up in technology, it'll be back.
Barring I can't remember. I forget. What is that? What's the bomb? What's the bomb that knocks out all the electronics?
The EMP.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now everyone knows what I'm going with it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Barring an EMP going off in Jacksonville.
It could happen.
But also I'm going to do a very rough, just eyeball it, of my playmaker chart. Okay. So we can see who, we'll find to see what the depth chart is, but now we'll get to see who scored more points as far as coming up clutch or making plays for the 5th wide receiver spot, for the 5th linebacker spot, for the 4th running back spot, all those things that this will be able to have some data that you can look at, that you'll be able to see, at least by my scoring system, who's winning or who won the day as far as preseason game number 1 in Miami.
You think you'll have that for us by the Instant Cast, or will we get?
Oh yeah, I'll have it by the Instant Cast.
Okay, cool.
No, I'll have it by the Instant Cast.
So we can expect that.
Like I said, it's going to be rough. I'm just going to sit there and do it by hand, but it's not really that difficult. I'm going to miss 1 or 2 things and stuff like that.
Commercial in there.
Yes, a commercial break, and I never came back from. No, but no, I think it'll be fun. I think everyone's really going to like it.
Cool. So we'll have that. We'll have, of course, the Buccaneers will be off on Friday, so probably no show on that day. But then I'll be back in Tampa on Saturday morning. We actually have a two-day event going on that day, Ren. We've got practice on Saturday morning, and then in the evening time, there's a premium member walkthrough. So
we got to bring a recording stuff of that.
Yeah,
that's
we will.
To watch.
Yeah, that'll be something. So we'll have that.
Maybe we'll do an Abbott Costello up in the stands.
So we got that, and then we'll back it around, and we'll see what next week unfolds as we get towards the end of this week. So, Ren, with that, do you got any final thoughts, man? And if you're done, we'll go ahead and tell people where they can find us out there on the internet.
Oh, I hope everyone liked the show. I know it's a little different. Not a lot of football talk, but this was sort of our plan going in there, and we captured the sound for you guys. So, if you can't make it to one of these open training camp dates, this is basically what happens, and now you can hear it instead of us, just talking about it. You can actually hear from the people that are there and the fan in the stands aspect. So I hope you enjoyed it. You can find me on Twitter. It's always the easiest way, probably the best way, and maybe even the only way. At Ren Daxt, REN_DAXT. I'm always down to talk Buccaneers football.
If you guys want to get a hold of me personally, I am at Brent Allen Live across all the social medias. And if you want to get a hold of the show, you can do that on Twitter at The Pewtercast or at Facebook.com/The Pewtercast. If you're a little more long-winded than the 80 characters or so that Twitter gives you these days, shoot us an email to thepewtercast@gmail.com. We do respond to all forms of feedback that we get, and it is one of the more fun aspects of being a part of this Bucs fan community. Also, you guys go over to iTunes, Podbean, Podcast Addict, Stitcher, Overcast, Jabbercast, whatever podcaster and podcasting app that you're on. Make sure you've subscribed, you've liked, rate, review, all that kind of fun stuff. And if you want to join the growing community, Ren, we got a couple more patrons this past week. And if I was a better host, I would have their names pulled up. But I promise I'm going to get you guys on the next episode. We'll have that set up for you guys. You guys are awesome. Patreon rewards are going out now as we speak. One of the levels gets you a Pewtercast T-shirt and hats, Pewtercast gear pack. So we've got that on order. It is coming in, and we'll be going out here in the early part of this week. So lots of stuff. You guys can check out what that is all about over at patreon.com/Pewtercast. Growing community, exclusive content available there as well, and lots of other fun goodies. You guys can check out the different tiers. With that, Ren, I guess we'll close this out as always. Go Bucs.
Over Raymond James, I could see the sun, the sky, smoke clearing from the cannons, pirate flags flying high. It's game time in the city of Tampa. Time to dominate the Saints, Dirty Birds, and Panthers. Everybody knows when you're the cream of the crop. Only place that you belong is sitting right up at the top. For about 10 years, we were known as a nemesis. So it's time to take it right back to the Genesis. Stepping on the scene with all my Buccaneer fanatics. Screaming Tampa Bay, losing breath like asthmatics. When the smoke clears, will be the last one standing. Cap the field, go ahead and fire up them cannons. Boom!